Kingdom Hearts is my most beloved franchise from my childhood. Even as an adult, I still get lost in Wonderland. I've played every single game. I've been to all the worlds, fought all the secret bosses, done the stupid minigames, and I loved every single bit of it. Everything from the music, to the different Disney worlds, to the really awkward pacing between sentences.
Strength to protect what matters. It reminds me of a promise I made.
To who?
Just someone I once met. Can't tell.
Sounds like a good memory.
I just can't get enough, man. Smash Bros, on the other hand, I've been following for arguably longer than Kingdom Hearts has been around for, yet I have just as fond memories of this franchise dating all the way back to Smash 64. There was a time when my brother said I wasn't good at the game until I beat a level 9 Samus CPU in a 1v1. 8-year-old me took that as a challenge, and needless to say, when I finally did it, since it was like 2006 and screenshots didn't exist yet, he didn't believe me. Lame backstory aside though, when you take those two franchises and mash them into the mind of an impressionable youth, you can't help but wonder, how would Sora, the titular teenage goofball and wielder of the Keyblade himself, look in Super Smash Bros? Would he be able to use all of his magic? What costumes would he wear? Would Donald and Goofy be there to waste all of his potions at the beginning of every fight? Who knows? I mean, sure, we're eventually gonna know how he plays, but there's no real way to know until he just gets released into the video game.
I mean, seriously, what are the odds that there is going to be a non-Nintendo character in Smash?
Kept you waiting, huh?
Okay, I mean, that's awesome, but come on, there's no chance that, I don't know, a Final Fantasy character would ever get...
You know, it would have been awesome if, like, they put in Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh my god. Needless to say, when I woke up on that fine Tuesday morning and tuned into the last Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct ever, you can probably guess how I felt in that moment. I was a mess. It took me the entire rest of the day to come down from what was essentially the most intense high I've ever felt in my life. And now that I finally managed to recuperate a week later, I can finally tell you about my thoughts on the trailer. So, here we go! Let me preface this Let me preface this by saying I'm just going to try and compile my thoughts into the most digestible form I possibly can. I've gone into the script writing process relatively blind, so if it accidentally sounds like I'm repeating stuff from other videos you've already seen, then sorry ahead of time. At the beginning of the trailer, I didn't really think much. I thought it was cool, aside from thinking, wow, it's kind of weird that they're all trophies again. What is this, Subspace Emissary? Then Mario got out of whatever funk they were in and started stepping towards the flame, and my first initial thought was, wait, what if it's like, it could be a reference to stepping towards the light, and your shadow becomes bigger the closer you get to it. But then he reaches out and grabs the fire, and I didn't really know how to react. I kind of thought, oh, it looks like a sword. Sora doesn't really have a fire sword. I mean, I guess he has the Keyblade, and... The subtle references in the trailer, oh my god! You've got all the iconic references. The fight with Sephiroth, classic. The finisher at the end when it fades white, ooh, classic. Running on the beach and looking at the skyline with Kairi feeding Dream Eaters and Timeless River being with Dedede standing in as Pete. The big fucking whale. The egg? Oh, okay. Of course, you got Sora meeting Cloud again, and he's like, God damn it, not this kid again. And the stage. Ooh, the stage! Hollow Bastion, floating around and shit, and then... We're just gonna ignore that.
Name's Goofy.
I'm Sora.
Yes, Sora's best friends. Fruit and Boat. I thought that having the different costumes for Sora would be hard to get, or by Smash standards they would just be recolored versions of the same outfit, but I severely underestimated the Smash team. Of course, everyone back in the day wanted the KH2 drive forms to be in the game, but with so much variation within the franchise now, and the amount of titles in the series, it'd be hard to narrow it down to only a few of them. I do like the choices for the first few costumes. To include as default outfits is kind of a no-brainer, but when it comes to the next four, I feel like the final decision is kind of an odd one, because it just kind of raises questions. Why does KH2 get more representation than 3, the more recent game? Not that I'm complaining, as Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite, but it just looks odd comparatively, having 3 forms from KH2 and only 1 from KH3. It's hard to come up with a nice balance that makes sure each installment gets its appropriate attention, I get that, but if I had to choose in place of the Drive forms, I would have personally liked to see a Roxas/Ventus alt, as some of the other characters are no strangers to just recoloring some of the attires and even hair colors to represent their different characters from their franchises. Plus, an anti-form Sora would have been perfect to go alongside the Dark Links and all of the other brooding and edgy alts that everyone likes. Moving on to how Sora actually plays though, I understand the team tried their best to represent the character's history well, but it's clear that they stuck to referencing KH1 as much as possible, likely to keep things simple and clean. And I get it, 1 is probably the most iconic for a lot of people, and Nomura seems to have a huge preference to the KH1 model Sora anyways, so it doesn't really come as much of a surprise to me. I will keep all of that in mind going forward through my moveset analyzations though, so I won't go too overboard with my suggestions. It's interesting to note that Sora is so light though. I mean, I guess I can't be too surprised when in the original games he flies like 20 feet every time he gets hit. It does make for a good balance adjustment regarding his insane recovery ability and infinite magic use. I guess being made of light really makes him light that way, huh? I like his ability to swap between combos and seamlessly integrate them into one another. It's a pretty faithful adaptation to how his combo looks in the original game. At first, I didn't even recognize it because the moves are so fast in this game, hence it being a fighting game of course, but I definitely see the resemblance now. His tilt attacks, however, I have a hard time seeing where they originate from. I guess it's tough to adapt a moveset from someone who normally only attacks in one direction, so I understand their logic behind their choices for his aerials and throws. The closest I got to thinking anything regarding that is when he up throws, it's kind of like when he uses an item, and when he back throws, it's kind of like when he's spinning Pooh Bear around in a circle. That's all I've got. The side smash I wish was the overhead flip swing that he does in 2 and sometimes in 1, but it is closer to the basic combo in 1, so I guess that's fine. I just feel like it would have had a lot more oomph behind it, like really satisfying seeing him just jump up and smack the dude on the head. Also, his down smash I feel like could have been his finishing move Explosion, but again that'd be referencing 2 and probably be a little OP considering how much ground it covers. I can be content with it being the finishing leap move from 2 though. I'm not sure if it's in 1, but who cares? I love the concept of the neutral B being what changes about him. I think it's pretty obvious to say that I definitely knew there would be some sort of incorporation involving a bar above his head or something like that, as DLC usually has something complex involved like that. Interesting to note that it's infinite though, because I can definitely see that becoming a spammy edgeguard move in the future. This might be a bit of a missed opportunity to have included an MP bar that does the pink cooldown thing when you run out, but to be completely honest, I'm pretty glad there's no limit. It's bad enough when Hero's MP bar runs out. Sonic Blade is a cool side B, and it definitely helps with the coming up with the recovery aspect sort of thing. I originally thought that it might be the one where he throws the Keyblade, but that'd be a lot of projectiles on someone that already has a ton of magic moves that act as projectiles, so I think it's fine in that regard. Putting the little lock-on icon on the other... Putting the little lock-on icon on the other character is putting the little lock-on icon on the other putting the little lock-on icon character on the putting the little lock-on icon lock-on icon on the putting the little lock-on icon on the enemy though is a nice cute touch. It's definitely a faithful addition to the series. I really like how they implemented the other magic moves being his taunt, so they don't clog his moveset by being part of like a down B like Hero's is. It's nice to know that they didn't want to just make a Hero 2, because that would have been lame, as you'd essentially just be paying for the same character again. And for other players that haven't really played Kingdom Hearts in the past, that wouldn't have given them much incentive to buy Sora. So I'm glad that they went this direction with it. Can I just stop here for a moment and say one thing? I can play as Link, Joker, and Sora in the same game. And I can pick any single one of them to beat the shit out of the other one. There is not a single moment in my entire childhood life that I would have ever guessed that I could play as one of those characters, aka my favorite franchises, in the same AAA video game. It still blowing my mind to this day. It really is. JRPG fans, feasting. They're feasting on this video game. Aerial Sweep is definitely a safe choice for up B, though I thought it might be some kind of variation of Glide, as that's a move that's prominent in every Kingdom Hearts game. Although, to be completely honest, again, I really hate the glide features of some of the characters like Steve, so I'm glad they didn't implement that. Right now, this more or less makes him play like a souped-up Link, which is my original main, so I'm definitely not complaining. I do like how they added the glide to his dash, though. It just makes sense. It's a very faithful adaptation. The counter, however, is an interesting choice, because this way, it's not just like everyone else's counter, like Sephiroth's or any of the Fire Emblem characters. You have to be the one to initiate the counterattack. And that makes sense. In the original games, you didn't automatically attack after you guard, so I get it. If it was going to be a counter, though, I expected it to be Reflect or Reflega, because that's what all of the Kingdom Hearts players use to block while also attacking. However, it makes sense as a counter, and with the ability to deflect projectiles behind you, it has the potential to really add some creativity to what would be an ordinary multi-man battle. And for the final piece of his moveset, the final smash is just alright, in my opinion. I've seen people online wanting it for years to be a Trinity limit, but with excluding Donald and Goofy, there's no way they could have done that justice. But I seriously don't think that that's as far as they could have gone without referencing Disney directly. I don't know. I mean, I wish it maybe referenced something like reaction commands in some way, because I think the most nostalgic part of Kingdom Hearts for me is hearing that sound. So having that pop up during the final smash would be amazing. I mean, if they can have Bayonetta's final smash be super involved, having to beat the shit out of the other person before it can even trigger, I don't see why they couldn't have incorporated a triangle button mash or something with Sora. Obviously, there's no triangle button on the Switch or any of its controllers, but mashing X or really any button would have definitely filled that void, and also referenced another key part of the Kingdom Hearts experience. Having Hollow Bastion be the stage is a no-brainer. I am so glad it transitions into Dive into the Heart, because that's what I originally wanted as a stage. It's really cool that they made it so it changes when the time runs low or when the stocks run low, as this means that it will definitely show up in every fight. Having all the characters appear on the design in the back is a genius touch. It's accurate to the original games and showcases the other characters well, instead of having them standing around as 3D models like every other DLC character. The music, I think they did what they could with. Not getting the rights to the vocal tracks like Simple and Clean and Sanctuary is a huge hit, but for what they have, I honestly can agree that it's a solid lineup. Plus the addition of the track from Melody of Memory, because I think that's my favorite rendition of Dearly Beloved right now. If they did get to remix anything though, I kinda wish they didn't do it with Hand in Hand, because it sounds the same. In my opinion, they definitely should have done something with Destati / Dive into the Heart, because that one drones on the most. I get that's how it is in the beginning of the game in Station of Awakening, but still, that's like if they didn't remix Aria of the Soul for Joker. You really want to fight people while listening to... Speaking of Joker, now there is just one thing that I want to know though. How does Xander Mobus possess the ability to keep his mouth shut about these DLC characters? I'm having a hard time imagining any scenario where it wouldn't be killing me to know the release schedule of a AAA game that everyone's excited about. I mean, I'm sure it's not getting to him like how Joker was or anything, but knowing the last DLC character for the last Smash Bros. Game as far as we know, mind-blowing. The man is on Twitter, I know that much, and there's not a single chance that he didn't at least see a sliver of the shitstorm known as Smash Bros. DLC speculation. There's just not. I mean, I guess that's why he gets paid the Nintendo money and I don't. Lastly, seeing that image of the Fighter's Pass being all filled up is a great feeling. Having all the fighters finally being revealed sure is a win for the Smash community, as DLC speculation can thankfully die along with Smash Ultimate updates, at least until the next game in the franchise comes out. I am so happy with this decision. I'm so happy about it that I went and made a video about it. If you thought this was entertaining in any way, then there's plenty more where that came from as regards to this channel. So if you're interested, then definitely be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when my next video comes out. And that's pretty much it. I haven't really figured out how to end these kind of videos yet, so here's this.
And there comes a giant fish!
fucking bingus bongus. Pringus prongus. I have to... Oh no. Okay.